Sir, there's been a murder. What? Wrong voiceover? Oh, welcome to the UKOCR's latest podcast, Who's Scot? And here's your host, Lynsay Mcewen. Are you sure there's no been a murder though?
Okay, so welcome back everyone for the second instalment of Who's Scot, and talking through our second race in the Scottish OCR series, which is going to be Tartan Warrior Reborn. Oh, woohoo! So welcome back to Gavin. Hi, Gavin.
Hello.
And welcome back to Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
So Tartan Warrior is coming back with a bang on the 25th and 26th of March. And if anyone has been living under a rock for the last few months, Gavin, can you talk us through the weekend and what our racers can expect from Tartan Warrior?
Yeah, so first of all, just tell you what races are on what day. So on this Saturday, the 25th, we kick off with the 3K, which will be a largely competitive race. But we do have one non-competitive wave. There's still tickets available for that, by the way. And then after the 3K, there's going to be the 100 meters. Again, there's still some spaces available on it as well. And then on the Sunday, we are doing an 8K to start off with, and that's going to be for competitive males and then competitive females. And then we shift down to a 5K distance for competitive 9 to 12-year-olds. And then once all the competitive runners are done, we then have about 5 or 6 waves of non-competitive fun runners doing the 5K. So I guess to sum it up, the Saturday is predominantly the kind of, well, both days have competitive elements, but the Saturday is mainly about the kind of competition. And there's not going to be as many people there. It's really just about the race. And the Sunday is obviously about the kind of competition in the early stages, but it's more, there's going to be more razzmatazz, more things happening, DJ, face painting, T-shirts, medals, all that kind of stuff. That's all coming on the Sunday. So hopefully that gives a wee overview.
Good stuff. Thank you, Gavin. And Karen, what are you most looking forward to about the weekend?
I'm really looking forward to it. Just generally doing it at home is quite nice. Seeing everyone again, getting all the kids all excited about a race, and probably for me though, distance wise, the 8K will be more fun. The 3K is a bit fast. Too much sprinting. But no, it'll be a really good weekend, so it'll be fun.
Nice, good stuff. And so we do have the 4 races, as Gavin mentioned, over the weekend, but the Scottish OCR race for the series is going to be the 8K competitive race on the Sunday, and that's what we'll focus on today. But so the 8K is going to be a little bit of a similar to what the European champs were last year in terms of the band system. So we've got a 3-band or 3-life system, if you like. We're going to have around 37 obstacles on course, so it's going to be jam-packed with obstacles. Really great course, and the obstacles are going to be split into 3 categories. So you're going to have mandatory obstacles. These are ones that you've got to complete. You've got multiple attempts at them, but you've got to complete those. They should be simpler, kind of forward-moving style obstacles. We've got multiple attempt banded obstacles on course. These are obstacles that you can try again and again to completion, but if you fail or you decide that you can't do it, you have to give up one of those bands to your marshal. And then finally, there's going to be single banded obstacles on course, which is 1 attempt. Again, if you fail it, you have to give up one of those bands to a marshal. But Gav, can you talk us through the penalties a little bit in terms of how the runners are going to kind of finish their race and how they might earn some of those bands back?
Yeah, so the great thing about this system is it creates for a more free-flowing race. You don't stop and do penalties at that point where you fail an obstacle. Your penalties will happen at the end of the race or just before the finish line. So as you approach the finish line, quickly just show your wrist to see how many bands you have, or to show how many bands you have left. So you start the race with 3 bands. If you have no bands left, if you've lost them all, then you still get a medal and everything. You still get a time, but you just cross the finish line. If you have lost one of your bands, then you need to do a penalty loop to earn a band back. So you do your penalty loop. That penalty loop will be most likely a tyre carry, nothing complicated. It'll take somewhere in the region of a minute or so to complete. And then you'll be given a band back, and then you can cross the finish line. If you have lost 2 bands, then you would do a penalty loop and you would be given a band back, and then you would go and do another penalty loop and be given a second band back. So you still then end up crossing the line with 3 bands. So that's essentially it. Have I covered everything there?
I think so, yeah, good stuff. So if we move on to the actual race itself and the people that are taking part on the Sunday from the 8k race, if we start with the women, what I found really nice to see is actually we've got, for a change, quite a big field of women. Actually, I think there's about 34 competitive women taking part, which is really brilliant to see. So if we come to Karen, if we come to you first, obviously you're in that list, so you've got to be, I guess, backing yourself on home turf and home course. But if you were to have a look through that list, who else stands out for you in terms of people that you're going to be watching out for on the day?
So there's a lot of people, obviously, that I don't actually know who they are. But you've got Kate Stillwell, who won the last race, McTuff. Who else is there? You've also got Louise Ferryman coming back from injury. So she had an injured wrist, so she's been doing a lot of running, so she should still be good in that front. But I don't know how she is on obstacles at the moment from that point of view. Who else there? You've also got Lauren McArthur, who trains with us as well. She's a very, very fast runner. But she's one of our juniors actually. So she's in the under 18 category. And Tamar Barkley, she stands out quite. There's quite a lot of names actually that stand out, people I know, and there's quite a lot that I don't know as well, which is nice to see lots of new faces. Libby Joyce.
Yeah, and Libby's on that list as well. And Gav, what about you? Any standouts for you that come to mind on the women's field?
Yeah, pretty much the ones that Karen's mentioned. It's great to see again. I did say this prior to McTuff, that I actually thought there's a potential for the women to be a tighter pack of runners, be a really close contest, and it probably applies the same for Tartan Warrior as well. Beth Wells, I don't know Beth, but I know she's quite strong. I think she competes at a pretty high level, so I know she's in there. Obviously, you've already mentioned Libby Joyce. She's fresh off of, I say fresh, but fresh off of 5 laps of nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. So awesome to have people coming north again. You know, it's good. I wouldn't often say it's good to have an English invasion, but in this scenario, we will welcome an English invasion. There's quite a few coming up. So yeah, it'll be. I'm assuming we're going to do our top 3 picks at some point. So I think this. I'm good. Well. Yeah, we're going to have to really think about this one, aren't we?
I think it'll be great to see the junior race within the female race as well.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time. So obviously Lauren is our current British junior champ. From fresh off that, it's almost a year ago now. But she is the current British junior champ. She didn't get a chance to race against Libby in that race, so it'll be really exciting to see those two go head to head. I think this is the first time maybe that the two of them have raced together, so it'll be really exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations are like Lauren is a couple of years younger, so I'm not going to put too much pressure on Lauren. She's only just turned. I think she's only just into the 4th. She just turned 14. I think.
She'll be 14 this year. Yeah.
I would. My expectation would be for Libby to be ahead of Lauren based on Libby's experience. I mean, she's been to World Championships and she's won numerous races, but it will be just interesting, and I think it'll be quite inspiring, I guess, for Lauren to maybe have somebody to look up to, like Libby, and think, oh well, look how great she's doing. And if Lauren chooses to focus on OCR, then she could be good down a similar path.
Absolutely, yeah. So coming to the top 3 then. So Karen, if you had to pick top 3 and your predictions, what would those?
Who's all here? Kate Stillwell, I think, would be one. And I think it depends. Obviously, there's quite a few people. So you're saying Beth might be up there, and then I think myself, Tamar, and Louise will be fighting for one of the spots as well.
Interesting. Gav, yours?
Karen Mcquarrie for the win. Yeah, so I kind of agree with Karen as well, but I'm not going to put pressure on Karen, but I'm just going to say, go after it. She is on home turf, and she does know the obstacles, and she knows that she'll know the course fairly well. So she can definitely take a bit of confidence from that, and I think when you know obstacles, you're more likely to go into those obstacles with a higher heart rate if you're more comfortable with them than if you're in a race you've never been on before. You're more likely to kind of take your time. So I feel Karen can take a few seconds out of other runners on those obstacles. But yeah, I think Kate's going to be up there definitely. Kate did win McTuff, and she's a very strong runner. But I don't see why Karen can't be pushing her all the way. And then it's just down to Louise in terms of how she's recovered from a hand injury and how she copes with rigs and stuff like that. I mean, it's not the most difficult course people will ever encounter, but you will need to have some little bit of rig proficiency. And then I know Tamar was right up there with Karen and Louise, at the UK series last year. So they were kind of chopping and changing places quite a bit. And then we've already mentioned Beth. I don't know Beth as well. I'm not actually sure of Beth's results, but I just know she looks like quite a strong athlete. And then Libby. Libby could be right in there just shaking things up. It didn't really go well. McTuff didn't really go well for Libby because some people took a wrong turning. I think Libby was one of those people, but I think she could be really getting in the mix. So I would say there's probably a good 5 or 6 in contention for the podium that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one.
Really close.
Yeah, that kind of tight pack I think is going to be really good. And I had a very similar. I've got Kate or Karen for one. I put Tamar or Libby for 2, and maybe Louise coming in for 3rd. So, but like you say, I think there's a few in there that could upset on the day, and I think the weather might play a part in that, depending on how good the weather is. Whether we get a nice dry day or whether we get a torrential horrible day, can really make the difference on that course, as we all know from kind of training week on week. So yeah, it'll be really exciting to see. I'm
scrolling through the list here. I see Sandy Pow's not on the list.
No, I did notice that. Yeah,
maybe I had it. I hope that's not a mistake. I thought she was. I thought she was doing it. I know she's down in the 3K list and the 100-meter list, but I thought the 8K would be more her jam. Unless maybe she just can't run the Sunday for whatever reason.
Maybe.
So
she'll be up there if she's there.
If Sandy's listening to this, if you're meant to be on that 8K list, then let me know.
That was a shout.
I assume that you're not able to make it.
Yeah, but yeah, really good field, and it's absolutely brilliant to see so many females taking part. So yeah, I'm really excited for that race. So if we move on to the men's, then again another really good strong field. There's about 61 competitive men running on that Sunday. I guess, Gav, a little bit of bittersweet for you. You can't run it. You're the race director. So how are you feeling about that? Not being able to take part?
Do you know what? I've been so consumed by organising it that usually my mind would be on a race like this, and I'd be thinking about that, like actually taking part. But I've been so consumed with organising that I don't really mind at all. Because like the most important thing to me is that everything goes well. Yeah. That being said, I will definitely have a run at the course myself next week. Whether I go full tilt at it or not, I don't know. But I think I'll definitely go at a decent pace because I want to know how it all feels, and how I cope and how people might cope just with things like water wise. Because a bit of insight for 8K runners that we probably will have, or there is scheduled to be a full water submersion on the course. If for any reason I think that's a bad idea due to the conditions on the day, or how much people might struggle after that water submersion. I'll see how I cope. Then that may well come out, because if it's like, if we have to crack ice and stuff to get into that water, then I'm probably not going to take that risk with people. But be prepared. If you're doing the 8K, be prepared for a full water submersion. You might want to consider some thin neoprene. You might, depending on the conditions. You might want to consider things like these Bleg Mitt type gloves. Other brands are available. But yeah, kind of tell you out there. So yeah, anyway, that's a wee bit of insight there.
It's definitely a consideration, I think, because the weather, like I think on Saturday when we were training the kids, it was glorious sunshine, perfect conditions for a race. And in the 3 days since then, we've had snow, hailstones, rain. So yeah, I guess for those who aren't used to traveling in those or racing in those conditions, probably pack for any type of weather, we would say, when you're coming up. Just
if I can just mention, just pick you up on that again. Like I was out in the fields just the other day after we had quite a lot of rain on Sunday, and it does make a big difference to it is mainly fields you're running through, and up until Sunday, really, the fields
was really dry.
The fields are really dry, and it would have made for really fast underfoot conditions, not really too much like mud or too much slipping happening. But if the weather forecast, I don't think it's going to be particularly dry between now and the race, so people can probably expect, yes, it will be through fields, but in the grass will be relatively short and stuff like that, and for most of it. But I think it will be a bit slippy underfoot, so you might not get as good attraction as you would like for free flowing running. So maybe that might, I know people are into their footwear choices and stuff. So yeah, you're probably going to get a wee bit of mud.
Nice. So if we come to the actual field itself in terms of who's running, Karen, again, if we come to you first, who stands out in the men's race for you?
So just going down the names. So there's quite a lot from SBF coming along, which is good to see. Who else? You've got Harvey Mitchell Divers, which is he's had really good results, but I think he's sort of moved up to adults now. Who else? It's actually Ricky Carino. He's one of the faster guys from Fit Body Farm. Dave Peters is coming. There's quite a few coming up from Rumble actually. He also did the sort of 5 laps at Nuts. So it'll be interesting to see the difference just doing the sort of 1 lap equivalent, I guess. And then there's there's obviously lots of names that I don't know. Finlay Greenfield as well. He's another junior actually, and he's very fast. I think he was like 5th at Winter Nuts in the male category there. And then you've got Ramnus as well, who's equally very fast. And then there's hundreds of names I don't know, but Gavin might know some of them.
Gavin will definitely have raced against some of them. What's your thoughts, Gavin? There's quite a few in there.
Yeah, so there was potential for a really big head-to-head happening, which unfortunately isn't happening. I'll talk about that in a wee moment. I'll leave that as a wee teaser. But just to give some names as I read down the list here, people I know that are pretty strong. So we have Ramunis was mentioned. He goes everywhere, takes part in every race. Gordon Lambert from Freestyle OCR, our team Freestyle. Russell Walsh, who beat me at McTuff. Russell's a very, very strong runner. I know he trains a lot over hills. This isn't a particularly hilly course, but he was like a gazelle going through some of the rough terrain at McTuff. So I'll be interested to see how well he goes. Graham Eastwood for our team, good to see him along. Who else? Yeah, Finlay Greenleaf, like Karen said, probably one of the best or the best junior male in the country at the moment.
There's quite a few juniors in this list, isn't there?
I think Oliver Addy as well. Is he here? Is he? Or maybe not. Is he only down?
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah.
No, he is there. Yes, I think Oliver is pretty handy as well. We've got, I know Adam Pollock's down, but he can't make it anymore, I don't think. Malcolm Smith. Malcolm is always really strong at McTuff. So hopefully he's along. He wasn't at McTuff this year. Hopefully he's along for this one. Craig McQueen, really good on the endurance front. I think did he win the 5-lapper?
Yeah, he did.
Nuclear. Yeah,
Kept all his bands as well. Yeah, he did well.
Yeah, Craig, it's obviously slightly shorter distance for him, but he'll be really strong. Robbie Simpson from SBF. I don't know Robbie, but I think he's had pretty decent results. So I'm just going to keep going if I missed anybody. And then I can probably talk about that potential head-to-head that would have been happening. Pretty gutted that it's not happening. So I was going to be big up. Morgan Maxwell versus Daniel Titcombe has been the big one to look out for. Unfortunately, Daniel met him only about a week ago to see he's no longer able to make it.
No.
But I know those two guys, I don't think they've raced each other that much. And Morgan's just coming off of, did he win nuts?
He was either first or second, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he might have been first yet.
He won the, what was the thing that Dave held down at Rumble?
Oh, the OCR games.
OCR games, won the OCR games. He's been pushing Tom Tweddle in a Spartan race last year, I'm pretty sure, stuff like that. So he's been up there. Basically, Morgan's up there, one of the names to watch UK wise, and also Daniel won the UK series last year, so that would have been an awesome head-to-head.
Yeah,
so, Daniel, you've let us down.
Daniel,
I know. So anyway, I think I might have given away who my number one pick is. Hello, actually,
Morgan
or I'd probably go
Russell.
for Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Karen? What would have been your top 3 picks?
Why not? I'll go the opposite. I'll go Russell. This is mostly on what Gav's saying. Morgan. And then I think some of the SBF guys are really fast, but I just don't know who's who. So I think an SBF guy will be first.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had, that's a real shame because I had a Daniel or Morgan one for one. So I'm going to go Morgan 1, Russell 2, and I think it'll either be a Craig or a Ramunis for 3, I think. So either Craig from SBF
Craig McQueen, yeah.
Ramunis will come in third. So yeah, that would be my top 3 picks for the race.
I'm very similar to you, Lynsay. I'm going to go Morgan 1, Russell 2, and I'll go Craig McQueen 3.
Nice, good, like it. Very good, very good. Cool. Okay, so although we do have the 4 races over the kind of weekend, and although some of the other races aren't in the series, we do think there is some good competition there, and we do think it's worth chatting about. So we did want to quickly mention that we do have 100 metres course running, as Gav mentioned earlier. It's slightly different to what probably most people would associate with a 100-metre course in terms of kind of more ninja style. That's generally what those shorter courses are. But we've got a 100-metre OCR course this time, so a little bit different. And it is, again, a fairly competitive field in that area, Gav. I don't know if you want to kind of talk us through that race and kind of the field that's running that 100-metre.
Yeah, I'll just briefly talk about the race first. So, like Lynsay says, 100 metres or thereabouts. And it's going to be 9 obstacles over the 100 metres. So, obviously, just more or less obstacle after obstacle. The aim of the obstacles is not to make them too technical. Like, we don't really want people hanging on stuff for ages. Most of them are going to be quite free-flowing obstacles, so it should be really fast, really spectacular to watch. It's going to be 2 people running at once, which only adds to it. So it's a bit of a kind of head-to-head, although it's not a knockout competition. It's just they get 2 runs each, and it's the fastest time that they achieve, will be whatever place they finish. Yeah. And then penalty, people might want to know, like, penalty-wise, because it's a wee bit different. It's not a band system, so it's a 20-second time will be added on to their time at the end for any obstacles that they fail. And I was going to finish with the ramp wall. So a bit like, beat the wall. Ninja Warriors. I actually might still have a few foam fingers from when I did Ninja Warrior. So I might be able... Oh, you've got a foam finger, Lynsay? Oh, you got one too, Karen? Awesome. So guys, you don't. So if you've
I'll get one.
If any spectators have got foam fingers from Ninja Warrior and they want to chant "beat the wall," then I suppose that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
So that'd be quite exciting. I guess the thing to make it really interesting is if it's raining on the day. The 100 meters is not. There's 2 obstacles indoors, but the rest are outdoors. So I guess those people who might typically do ninja are going to have to, they're going to have their skills tested because they're maybe not used to going through rigs and stuff where things could be wet. So they might have to adapt their techniques. So that only adds to it. So yeah, pretty exciting. In terms of names, do you want to drop a few names?
Go for it, yeah.
All right. So the name that I know the best, and there's quite a few, would be the Bearded Ninja. Yeah. We've all seen Ali Hay on Ninja Warrior over quite a few series. He's always been absolutely rapid on that. Ali owns Ninja Warrior Edinburgh. Would that be right to say? Yeah. So Ali's coming through. Great to have him there. There's some other ninja guys that I don't know personally, but I know them by, I guess, reputation and their Instagram. So we've got Thomas Matthews. He's one to watch. Martin Bamber, Dylan Summers, Stephen Fell. Just seeing if there's any others that jump out. You've got the likes of Jack Carpenter coming from Field Fit. Jack's also doing the 3K as well. Jack's pretty swift on the obstacles. And then it's great to see there's quite a few of the guys just stepping into this race who it's really not it's not their jam. Let's say they're probably more like 8K runners, but they're just going to give it a go and see what happens. So we've got likes of Andrew Ballantyne from their team, like Harvey's in there. You've got Oliver Addy. You've got Russell Walsh is having a crack. You've got Jack Wade, who's just done a few training sessions up here. He's a young guy. He's pretty strong on the obstacles. So yeah, it's cool. There's going to be a right kind of mixture of people. Some who are super experienced, but they might be thrown off by the conditions if it is wet. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Ramsey will be good as well, I think, won't he?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I haven't.
That's because he's in the other category. Because he's in the other list.
The 40 plus,
because he's in the 40 plus list.
It's going to be
Sorry. Sorry, Lynsay, on you go.
No, I was going to say it's going to be an interesting race. One of the things we noticed when we did the 100-meter ninja one at Gloucester, we had that nice mix of ninja athletes and OCR athletes, and it was really interesting to see how they had to change their technique, or indeed how the different sports did their technique through those obstacles. So the OCR guys hung a little bit more with longer arms. The ninja guys were up close and kind of doing it really quickly. So it'll be interesting to see the flip side of that this time in terms of a more OCR style obstacle and how the ninja guys get on with that. So it's going to be a good fast race, I think. Yeah, it'll be good. Karen did mention his name there, but Ramunis is definitely a contender for this as well. But he's in a different spreadsheet, so he is in there. Good stuff. And anything from your side, Karen? Anything you want to add to that? Are you doing the 100 meters? Not doing the 100 meters?
No.
Not your style of race then.
Far too short for me. It'll be great fun to watch. And there's not actually that many females doing it. I noticed from the male list, there's actually quite a lot of the sort of under 18 males that are doing the sort of 8K are also doing the 100, so that'll be quite good. I've seen videos of quite a few of them on Facebook and Instagram doing this sort of short things, and they are really quick. So Ramunis, from the male point of view, he's also really good because his grip, he can just hold on to stuff forever, so he's really good at the grip stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the sort of ninja guys doing it versus the OCR.
Yes.
We got some of the women 100 meters runners a wee shout out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, there's sort of 10 or something, isn't there? So Becky Wales going to be there on the Saturday. She's really good. Who else? Julie's coming up.
Sharon.
Is that Julie from?
She's from Aberdeen.
Well, yes, yeah. And Laura McArthur, and I actually don't know the others.
Yeah, so you've got. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to seeing Izzy Izzy Barr, who's trained with us before, do this, but I know she's actually not taking part anymore. So
That's a shame.
Ellen Wells, I think she'll be quite strong. Again, I'm just going off of what I've seen on social media. Lynsay Young, as long as she doesn't I should touch wood here, but as long as Lynsay doesn't smash her head into a rig or have a black eye or something like that, because I think she's actually met herself. I think she's got a nickname in the ninja world as being a bit of I can't remember what her nickname is, but it's something to do with being Calamity Jane type person. So no doubt, if you see a woman walking around with black eyes, it might be Lynsay. She actually got a black eye on Ninja Warrior, which was quite funny. But yeah, Lynsay could do quite well here because she's probably one of the few kind of, I guess, ninja people. Yeah, so we'll see how they go. So can I just say, on the 100-meter front and the 3K front, there is spaces for people to still sign up, and we'll probably take sign-ups on the day as well. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, ideally, if you can sign up ahead of time, then it just makes the organisation a bit easier. But we can accept some sign-ups on the day. Okay.
Very good. Maybe people will see it and get a bit of FOMO and actually want to come and join in. So hopefully that works. Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. So the other thing I guess I wanted to just do a quick shout out about is our 5K junior competitive race that's also happening over the weekend. Looking at the list of people that are taking part, it's really brilliant to see those kids stepping up into the competitive wave and seeing themselves put themselves out there and taking part. Kind of huge shout out to kind of Henry and George, Louise's kids that are coming up from the Rumble team to take part. It's brilliant to see them travel up with their parents for that race. So it's great to see people, like we say, coming from down south to kind of invade for the weekend. We're happy for that invasion, but just for the weekend. But we've also got a really good field of juniors in there, particularly from the kind of freestylers, Fit Body Farm freestylers team, which is brilliant to see because there's not a huge amount of junior races on the calendar. So being able to put that training to good use is really good. So is there anyone in particular, Gav, that you want to shout out, or will we just run through the list?
I think you could probably just run through the list. I don't think we could do a kind of one to watch type scenario, but I think it puts a wee bit of pressure on them. So why don't you just rattle through the names, give them a shout out?
So big shout outs then. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say it's just great to see kids in that kind of 9 to 12-year-old category, being willing to do a competitive race, because it can be a little bit intimidating. So big up to you all for entering it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we run down the list quickly, we've got Caden McKillop, who trains with us at Fit Body Farm Freestylers. We've got Isaac Mitchell, who also trains with us. We've got Ralph Spillerts, Iona Love taking part, who's also a freestyler. Oren Knox, Emma Wright, who is one of ours, Noah Henry, Lucas Turner, Finlay Livingston, Zara Wiley, James Mitchell, Corey McKay, Henry Ferriman and George Ferriman. We are super pleased to say that you are stepping up to take part in the competitive wave, and we can't wait to see you out on course having a blast and having fun. So yeah, can't wait to see you guys smashing it up when you come up.
Yeah, that'll be really good to see you, I think, as well.
Okay, so we're kind of coming towards the end of our chat today. So is there anything else, Karen, you want to add, or anyone you want to shout out to?
Not really. I think it's just great to see all the juniors having a go and just make sure they all have a good time.
Absolutely. And Gav, anything you want to add or shout out about?
Just a few things. Like the competitive runners, make sure you read the rules beforehand. You will, by the time this gets aired, you probably should already have had the rules emailed out. I'm not exactly sure when this is going to be aired, but make sure you read over the rules. We've worked really hard on the rules. I know having rules with OCR, it can feel a little bit like, is it taking the fun away? But if this is going to progress as a sport, then we need to have some kind of level of standardization with rulings, and we worked really hard on it to try and make it fair and to try and make it align with European and World Championship standards, I guess. So there's a reason behind everything that we've done. And then the other wee thing, just to kind of say to people, is like, please car share as much as possible. That goes to everybody listening to this. We do have car parking, but we're probably going to be a little bit pushed for spaces. So the more we'll find a way, but the more people who jump in cars together in groups of 3, 4, even 5, the better it'll be for us. So please car share wherever possible. And that's probably all. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Good stuff. And I guess finally, just a big thank you to all of the volunteers and marshals and everyone that's helping over the weekend. We always say it, but races can't go ahead without you. And it's I think it's a bit of an understatement, Gav, to say you've got an army of people coming up over the weekend to help. So yeah, just a huge big thank you to everyone that's coming to help out in whatever way you are helping out over that weekend. Yeah. And also just a big shout out to John and Margaret, Gav's parents, who essentially we run round their back garden every weekend, and essentially Tartan Warrior is we're running round their back door again, but at this time there's probably 400 people running round their back garden. So again, just a big thank you to them for accommodating us every time, and also taking part and helping out on the day as well. So thank you for that. Cool. Well, I guess it's a huge thank you to you guys for joining me again today. As Gav said, when this goes out, we'll probably only be a couple of days away from actual race day, and we really can't wait. We've badgered Gavin for a long time to do a race, and the fact that it's such a much loved race that's coming back is really great to see, and with a little bit of a twist and a revamp. So we are just I guess really thankful, Gavin, for bringing Tartan Warrior back, and can't wait for a really great weekend. Good luck to everyone taking part. If you can all pray for some good weather, that would be amazing. If you can all bring it with you, that would be amazing. But for now, I guess I'll say goodbye to Gav.
Goodbye.
And I'll say goodbye to Karen.
Goodbye. Thanks for having me.
And it's a goodbye from me, and we'll see you all at Tartan Warrior.
Yeah.
Woo! So just as a little add-on, we wanted to we couldn't stop talking, to be honest, because we're so excited about Tartan Warrior. Gav's got a couple other things he wanted to just mention, so that if you're listening to this in your car or on the way to Tartan Warrior, or whenever you're listening to it, just to make you aware of a few other things. So over to you, Gav.
Yeah, just a few things to help you out. So when you arrive at Tartan Warrior, there's going to be a one-way system, first of all, so look out for signposts bringing you in and taking you out a different way. So please stick to the one-way system, and that'll help any congestion on the country roads. Secondly, there's going to be a football team helping with the car parking. That's the Belfield junior football team. So that's on the Sunday. So they're trying to raise money for new strips and equipment. So we are asking if people are willing to make a donation towards them helping with the car parking. They will have buckets that you can put cash into. So if you can have a wee feel under your car seat if you're listening to this in the car right now, and see if you can find a £1 coin or 5, that'd be amazing. Food-wise, people might want to know what's available on site. So we're going to have Regalicious. They're actually a Caribbean food company who are going to be serving food direct from their base, I guess, because they're actually based at Fit Body Farm. And they're going to be serving some delicious Caribbean food, but also your more traditional burgers, hot dogs, and all that jazz as well. They will have an indoor seating area, which is brilliant to know. So if the weather's not kind, then there's some indoor seating. And we're going to have espresso cart, who will have teas, coffees, cakes, etc. So they're going to be there both days. And then finally, I guess just to thank sponsors for the event. So our main sponsor is Sabio. Thank you to you for supporting us. And thank you to Dairy Flow. And thank you to Safeguard Security. And thank you to Blackwood's Plant Hire. Okay, so they're main sponsors. Yeah, I hope I've not forgotten anybody. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to say. Thank you.
Cool, good stuff. Well, again, for the second time, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you all at Tartan Warrior.
Thanks for listening to the Who's Scot podcast, produced and edited by UKOCR. If you're interested in obstacle course racing in Scotland, join the Scottish OCR community and British Obstacle Sports. Links to both are in the comments. And don't forget to leave us a review. Till next time.